Hi and welcome to Rover Tasmania. What I'm going to do today is a very quick job. I'm actually going to be removing this drive flange from the front axle and replacing it with this other one here. And the reason why I'm doing that is because last time I checked the bearings, there was substantial play between the splines and the actual axle itself, and I'll show you what I mean by that when I start pulling it out. So what I need to do is just remove the cap, remove these bolts here. There's a circlip in there, pull that out, and then I should be able to gain access to it, but I'll show you all that in a moment. So I'll get cracking with taking the this off. You can see that's very easy, just gently do it with a screwdriver, pop that out, and you'll see the grease there. In amongst that is this circlip here. You can see it there. And what I'll do is I'll need two hands to kind of get it, but you basically separate the circlip and remove it out. Right, so circlip is out. And you can see there's a spacer here as well. So make sure you don't lose these spacers. So I'll put that with a circlip. And now the next step is to undo these bolts. A little bit of a hint: if you don't have an impact, which I don't, and you've got to use the old tools, obviously as soon as you start to try to undo it, the entire hub moves. So what I did was I just used a tool to wedge it in place like that to stop it from spinning. But anyway, we got that. So it's actually quite well sealed in there. I can't actually move it, which was what I suspected. So what I'll do is I'll just gently try to pry it out with a hammer and a flat blade screwdriver, see if I can get this out. So I've pried it loose, you can see there, and I can take that out now like that. I mean, this whole unit I'll be changing when I change the front diff, so I'm going to have new axles, new diff and so on. But what I was a bit concerned about, and this is the whole point of this exercise, is you will note here that there is quite a large amount of movement. Now, this is only going to get worse. And because I'm towing, I wanted to make sure that I limited the amount of play on here. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. I've got to clean this new one up here. You can see I've got old grease and so on, so I'm going to clean all that up and then position it, and hopefully it won't be as bad, because this is a second-hand unit obviously, so I don't know how much wear that's got either. Anyway, I'll clean it up first. So this one here, let's have a look how this sits. I've obviously checked it before I cleaned it. This will give you an idea anyway. And you can see there's hardly any play between the teeth. So this is good. That's what you want. Okay. So I'm now going to just put a bit more grease in here and clean it all up. Well, as in making sure that the surfaces are impeccable. Then I'll put a bit of this RTV sealant on and I'll nip it back up. But one thing at a time. I'll start putting the RTV on this edge. You put it on this edge here, because this lip here sits inside there. So you want to be able to cover that lip there. Alright, so there you go. RTV silicone around the bolt holes as well. And so now we just align that up. And we just put that in there like that and seat it on. So now I'll just leave it like that for the moment, and I'll get the bolts, put those in there like that, try to find home. There we go. Always do bolts by hand first, because the last thing you want to do is cross thread these. Alright, so most of the bolts are in, and you can see that the silicone being squeezed there. I haven't tightened them down yet. The reason why is because I've got the fifth bolt here. You can see down here it's not bolted in down here, and the reason for that is here. This is where the circlip goes in, and so what we'll do is we'll just do this just to get some traction in there, and then we pull it out, and then you can see the groove where the circlip goes. And so before we put the circlip, we obviously got to put the spacers, and you can see, or shims, you can see that's what they look like. So they go in there. Okay, and then the circlip goes into there, and I'll just do that because I obviously need the circlip pliers and 2 hands. Right, circlip is now home. So like I said, you have to actually keep tension on this to keep the axle out enough to get the circlip to sit in its groove. Right, so now that I've done that, I can go ahead and put this one in. And so now that I've got these in, I'm just going to knit them all up. And effectively, once I've knit them all up, I've just got the end cap, which I'll clean, and the end cap just pops on there. I'll put a bit of grease in around here as well, just to aid as a little bit of waterproofing. But effectively that just pops on there, and that's the end of the job. And so it's much better to do this now rather than, as I said beforehand, stripping the thread in here and then losing drive and then having to do a whole lot more work in order to get yourself off the road. So anyway, I hope you've got something out of this video, and as always, thanks for watching.